Welcome to Turo Nightmares. My name is Dennis and today I'm your host. I'm gonna tell you tips and tricks how to set up your listing for success, and I'm gonna tell you something that you will probably won't be able to find elsewhere because we work directly with Turo VPs. We understand how the algorithm works, how to set your listing. So tips, tricks, and insight in this video. But before we begin, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. If you're a Turo host, you won't regret it. Let's just jump right in. First and foremost, because I'm not driving today, I can look at my notes. Let's think about your listing. Your listing is your storefront. So how you present it is how the people will look at it. You gotta have clean photos, you gotta have good lighting, and let me just show you bad examples. Here's the bad example, here's the bad example, here's the bad example. Let me show you good examples. I think this is the good example. I think those photos are great, and they have to be light, they have to be bright, they have to be vibrant, they cannot be dark. Also, keep in mind, whenever you're taking a photo, take a step back. Turo will cut the air around the car, and you want to make sure you have a little bit extra margins so your listing will look properly and you can fit the entire part of the car instead of cutting the corners and making half of the hood and half of the roof on your cover photo. The good pictures is absolutely must have. While you might have good pictures, you have to also understand that the description is also another key. If you just scroll in your area, you'll be able to find a bunch of people that do not understand listings and they will just put a good car or something like that in the description, or just list a bunch of specs for the car instead of actually describing features, describing the positive sides about the car. I'll give you an example. If you have a minivan, you gotta talk about, hey, you can fit 7 or 8 people, hey, it's great for family trips, hey, it's gonna be perfect for your adventure, something like that, because you gotta really think who's gonna be a renter, who's gonna be renting that specific vehicle, and that's exactly what you're gonna be selling in the description. And because we have volume and because I worked with Turo VPs, I understand how the search algorithm works. So for example, if your listing doesn't have 10 photos, you're gonna have less priority when it comes to the position in search result. The number one rule, every single listing you should have 10 photos or more. And to give you even more, well, I would say if you have a nice car, meaning nice interior, put the second or third photo about the interior. Don't do like 6-7 photos showing the exterior. If people are not gonna be riding on top of the minivan, they're gonna be riding inside. So the interior is actually as much important as the exterior. And if it's nice, showcase it in the top 3. My point number 2, set the right expectations. What I mean by that, use automatic messages so you tell them right away answers to all of their questions up front. I'll give you example. Hey, how to connect the Bluetooth? Hey, how do I pay the tolls? Hey, what type of gas I should put? If you have it in automatic message, 3 or 5 out of 10 at least gonna read it. In 3 out of, let's say, 10, you wouldn't need to explain that on over and over again. Put as much mundane tasks on autopilot rather than keep spinning the same circle again. Also give you the advice, put something like, hey, only approved driver can drive the car. So you have this legal protection. You told them right away. I understand it's all in Turo terms, but who reads them? So you gotta have that portion. You gotta explain them that the only approved drivers can drive the car. You gotta explain them that the trip start time and trip end time, and if you're running behind, it's gonna be extra. So stuff like that. You don't have to do all of it. You just pick what actually works for you, for your model, and hear your customers. They will be asking questions. So the more you get questions in specifics, let's say tolls, refuel, and stuff like that, the more chances that you have to put it in your automatic message right before the trip. Use it. You're gonna love it because you're gonna save time. You also have to set the right expectations when it comes to your hours. What I mean by that, when you set your hours when you can give them the keys or pick up the keys, it's very important to understand that the new policy that recently rolled is completely changing the game. What I mean by that, they do have 2-hour no-show policy right now. And what it means, if you, let's say, put 12 midnight, something like that, as your latest when you can give the keys, you're literally gonna be working until 2 a.m. What I mean by that, 1:59 a.m. they can show up and message, hey, I'm here, and you have to give them the keys. So remember about that when you're setting up your hours, and be a little bit more reasonable. Don't get yourself completely screwed and worn out so you'll quit sooner than later. Rather, be smart about it. So if you put 10 o'clock as the cutoff time, you will be much better than trying to rent your cars after the midnight. And yes, I've seen hosts doing 3 a.m. Pickups and drop-offs, and trust me, they're gonna quit sooner than later. Number 3, I would say make sure that the car is clean before the trip, but it would sound a little bit weird. Well, I've seen it myself when I was renting the cars and traveling. You get the car that nobody cleaned and all of it. This is disgusting. This is just not gonna fly. Most of the people will encourage you to get the membership for automatic car washes, but this is only a ticket to get more scratches on your clear coat. Probably buy yourself a bucket and a couple of towels and you'll be better off. And if needed, if this is sold mud or something that needs to be washed, well, get yourself a pressure washer or find a self-service car wash where you'll be able to clean up. Okay, the car is clean and here's the keys. No, wait a second. You have to drive the car before you give them the keys, or at least when you get the car back, drive around the block so you understand that the car is mechanically solid. You cannot just, keep spinning the wheel and hoping for the best. No, you gotta make sure that the car is solid, because sometimes you will see renters trying to take advantage of you, and there are hosts that will give free rides just because somebody said, hey, I didn't like the noise of this or that, right? You have to understand in what condition is your vehicle, and if you know it's perfectly fine, never give them the free ride. You're just gonna give them this free ride and they will keep trying to get free rides from other hosts. So if something is wrong with the car, you gotta know about it and you don't have to rent it. You gotta fix it and come back strong, come back with the right attitude. You wanna treat your customers the way that you wanna be treated, so don't give them broken cars. You have to have some basic tools. You have to have some basic common sense and knowledge. What I mean by that, well, twist your steering wheel to the left and right and look at your front tires. Are they worn out? Well, this is the easiest way how you're gonna get screwed, because if they get into the accident and you have worn out tires, Turo will decline the protection plan, and what you will end up with, the totaled cars that nobody is gonna pay for. And the best part, if they're gonna hit somebody, or maybe 2 or 3 or 5 cars, that's your responsibility. I know it's crazy, but think about it. It's gotta be perfect when it comes to basic maintenance. And what I mean by that, tires, brakes, all that good stuff. So make sure to check it out before you're gonna list it and rent it out. There's also windshield that you have to make sure that it's got no cracks. If it's a small windshield chip, fix it as soon as possible. Fix is cheap. If you go to the shop, it's like $50, but you're gonna save later on spending $300, $400, $500 on the windshield replacement. And Turo will use it against you in case the car gets into the accident, and they will say, we're not gonna pay. You know why? Because you violated our terms. So don't go there. Please don't. Get yourself some basic tools. I don't know, like tire gauge. Open the hood. Make sure to check the oil and fluids. Take photos. Have them. You don't have to upload them to the trip, but just have the photos with the time and date where you actually looked at the fluids, where you actually checked the oil, where you actually take care of the car before it goes to the trip. This is basics, I understand, but hey, this is as important as it gets. And the best part, if you have a trip starting at 1 o'clock, I'd say at 11, go and check the tire pressure. You know why? Because people love to bring the cars with the nails. And if you do it 2 hours in advance, there is a high chance that you will be able to fix it before the next trip instead of canceling and having that problem or letting, God forbid, somebody drive with the nail in the tire. Get yourself a toolkit, you can patch it yourself, or get the shop that will be lined up and ready for you if you need to drive there, and they will professionally patch it on the inside so you know you can completely wear out this tire, and send the receipt to the renter and say, hey, would you be so kind to pay me $30 back because you brought it with the nail. So we'll give you the link to the pump that I'm using, I'll give you the link to the patch kit. But you know what? Renters are actually getting more smarter every day, and they learned how to use the gas station with the free air where they pump the tire right before they return, so you don't know that the car has a nail until the next morning. That's why I'm telling you, 2 hours before the trip, you don't have to wash it 2 hours before, but you have to check the tires and make sure that you covered just basics: oil, fluids, tires. At least that. Would you be so kind? You have to do a lot of pre-trip photos. What I mean by that, Turo right now updated the app and they only allow you to upload 100 pictures in bulk at once, but you can actually upload more. What I mean by that, you can send 100 and then you can send 50. You would say, Dennis, you're crazy. Why the hell I'm gonna do 100 photos or even more? Well, let me give you some examples and you will tell me what you think. Once I had a car returned with a damaged headliner. I had a photo. I was covered. Once I had a car returned with the third row seat burnt hole. Turo paid for the seat replacement because I had the photo. Once I had a car returned with no floor mats because they trashed the entire car and decided to throw them away. Well, I had a photo. That's why. Every possible angle, not only exterior but the interior as well. And for that you gotta use a lot of pictures. I cannot stress enough how important it is to do that. Pictures are valid for 24 hours. So let's say if you got the car back completely detailed, because once upon a time you will find a really nice renter who will detail the car before bringing it back, you can easily do those photos for the checkout and 5 hours later use it for the check-in. You don't have to redo those photos. But please don't just take photos of the dirty car covered in bugs and upload to the next trip, right? That would be a bad day. So photos are extremely important. And if it is dark outside, let's say somebody booked for 9 o'clock and it's already dark outside, you driving to the gas station where you have plenty of light, you taking clear photos because you don't want to get screwed. My number 5, location and delivery. Let me tell you something that most of the people will never tell you. Well, because I got the inside. First and foremost, this is the perfect tool to use so you get more views for your specific listing. And let me explain how it works. So for example, if you set 20-mile radius around your home location, that's where your listing is gonna be shown, 20 miles around your place. If you add, let's say outside of this radius, a hotel or something, you expand your search results and you get more views for that specific listing. But you gotta make sure that you are able to drive there and drop off the car if somebody books for that specific location. So you have to understand, does it make financial sense for me to drive to that specific location so I get more views? Let's say I live in a smaller town but I want to bring it to San Francisco, right? In my case, it would be tolls both ways. In my case, it will be fuel. In my case, it will be 2 people that I have to pay for. And all of that, when you count, is like $80 or more. And if you're charging $90 for delivery, what are you doing? And also, Turo decided to make you a workhorse, if I can call it this way, because they recently rolled a new free delivery feature. Go check it out. You gotta shut it down immediately, because they like to collect money and let you do all the work, and they make all the money, you know? So that new feature is automatically rolling right now, and it will be turning free delivery for all of your locations for trips 7 or more days. So you gotta go and make sure that you change those settings, otherwise you'll be driving a lot, you'll be delivering a lot. But what if you have a cheap car, like 30-40 bucks a day, right? Just not gonna worth your time to do the free delivery even for 7-day trip. If you have Escalade, if you have something, you know, more expensive like 100 plus a day, yeah, sure, why not? For 7 days plus, I'll deliver the car, no problem. But you have to calculate it based on your location, based on your expenses, and you have to really understand it. I get it. You want to make money, all right? Let's just flip the switch and see how it goes. Stop. Like, think about it. The worst part that you can hurt yourself by getting completely worn out and make mistakes that will cost you a lot, the price of your car, or God forbid, everything that you have. So don't make those mistakes. Think about it. Be smart about it before you jump the hoop. So to summarize, use the location and delivery as a way to expand search results and make sure that you get more views for your specific listing. But stay away from making a bunch of free deliveries for a long distance, because you're gonna spend half of your day, then you have to have a way back home, and if you count everything, you might be working for free or maybe negative. You don't want to go there. Before I let you go, here's a free bonus. Make sure you cover the basics like extras. What I mean by that, when people travel in, they're not going to be carrying 2 child safety seats to place them in your SUV or minivan. You want to offer them. They're cheap, but I mean, the decision between the car that has free seats or $10 seats or something like that has seats, or the car that doesn't offer the seats, is going to be obvious for families. This is just an idea how important to have extras, whether you're going to rent them for $1 or you're going to rent them for 20, just have it. Those safety seats are cheap. You might find them for free. People just give them away. Make sure to have stuff like that, strollers, child safety seats, I don't know, coolers. I see all sorts of crazy stuff that people would want to take as an extra, but this is a decision factor between you and somebody else. Somebody else is listing. So you want to make sure that you are covered. Word of advice. Extras is on you. What I mean by that, if you give a GoPro or camera to somebody and they decided not to return it, it's on you. Forget about it. They're not gonna cover it. And what I mean by that, Turo does not cover extras. It's not included in the protection plan. That's why I'm saying it's important to have them, but you also have to be able to cover and afford them and like pay it off within the next trip or two. I would encourage you to rent time to time. I would encourage you to do the searches in your local area and see what's out there. I would encourage you to be open to different ideas how to improve your business and how to make sure you're not gonna get screwed. If you actually want to know my secrets how to avoid bad renters, because they do exist and they will completely trash your car if you ever gonna find it, message down below, leave the comment down below, let me know. I'll do the video how to avoid those trouble people, because yeah, I got stories to tell. And if you have any other topic that you want me to cover, leave the comment down below. I'll try to do the video. I want to share this experience because it's been a bumpy ride for anybody who started Turo adventure, and instead of bumpy ride, I want you to have a very smooth journey. All right, thanks again for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. I'll see you in the next one.